पृथिवी शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्तिर्द्यौ शान्तिर्दिशः शान्तिरवान्तर दिशा वायुशान्तिरादित्यः शान्तिश्चन्द्रमा शान्तिर्नक्षत्राणि शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिर्वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्गौ शान्तिरजा शान्तिरश्वः शान्तिः पुरुषः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिर्ब्राह्मणः शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः शान्तिर्मे अस्तु शान्तिः. May there be peace on earth and in the sky. May there be peace in the water and in all directions. May there be peace in the plants, in the trees, and in animals. May there be peace in the hearts of all beings. May there be peace in everyone and in everything. Sarvetra sukhinas santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma sarvastaratu durgani, sarvo bhadrani pashyatu, sarvasatbuddhimapnotu, sarvasarvatra nandatu. May all be happy and healthy. May all see what is good, and may no one experience misery. May all overcome their obstacles and acquire good tendencies. May people everywhere find joy and fulfillment. Let us now spend some time touching the center of peace and joy in our hearts. A good way to begin the practice is to withdraw the scattered energies of the mind and bring them to rest on one point. That point can be our own breathing. Let us therefore practice breathing with awareness. As we breathe in, let us visualize that our body and mind are being filled with love, strength, and compassion. And as we breathe out, let us release all the stress, anxiety, and exhaustion in the body and mind. Let us practice this way for a while. Let us now turn our attention to the region of our heart. Although God is present everywhere and in everyone, the divine presence can be felt most clearly in our own hearts. We can meditate in any way we have been taught. To remain focused, we can take the help of a short mental prayer or a mantra or a divine name. Let us now spend some time dwelling on the presence of God in our hearts. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.
We will sing the Antar beginning on page 7.
Moksha Sukha Karini Ma Good morning. I'm going to read two different things. The first is a compilation of conversations with Sri Ramakrishna where he talked about God as the Divine Mother. And the second is from an essay by Pravrajika Vrajaprana about Mary, the Divine Mother in the Christian tradition. Pray to the Divine Mother with a longing heart. Her vision dries up all craving for the world and completely destroys all attachment to lust and greed. It happens instantly if you think of her as your own mother. She is by no means a godmother. She is your own mother. With a yearning heart, persist in your demands on her. The child holds to the skirt of its mother and begs a penny of her to buy a kite. Perhaps the mother is gossiping with her friends. At first, she refuses to give the penny and says to the child, "No, you can't have it. Your daddy asked me not to give you money. When he comes home, and I'll ask him about it. You will get into trouble if you play with the kite now." The child begins to cry and will not give up his demand. Then the mother says to her friends, "Excuse me a moment, let me pacify this child." Immediately, she unlocks the cash box with a click and throws the child a penny. You must force your demands on the Divine Mother. She will come to you without fail. I once said the same thing to some Sikhs when they visited the temple. We were conversing in front of the Kali temple. They said, "God is compassionate." "Why compassionate?" I asked. "Why, revered sir, he constantly looks after us, gives us righteousness and wealth, and provides us with our food." "Suppose," I said, "a man has children. Who will look after them and provide for them? Their father or a man from another village? God is our very own. We can exert force on him. With one's people, one can even go so far as to say, 'You rascal, why won't you give it to me?' One must have for God the yearning of a child. The child sees nothing but confusion when his mother is away. You may try to cajole him by putting sweetmeat in his hand, but he will not be fooled. He will only say, 'No, I want to go to my mother.' One must feel such yearning for God. What yearning? How restless a child feels for his mother. Nothing can make him forget his mother. He to whom the enjoyment of worldly happiness appears tasteless, he who takes no delight in anything of the world, money, name, creature comforts, sense pleasure, becomes sincerely grief-stricken for the vision of the mother, and to him alone the mother comes running, leaving all her other duties. Ah, that restlessness is the whole thing. Whatever path you follow, whether you are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, the vital point is restlessness. God is our inner guide. It doesn't matter if you take a wrong path, only you must be restless for him. He himself will put you on the right path. Besides, there are errors in all paths. Everyone thinks his watch is right, but as a matter of fact, no watch is absolutely right. But that doesn't hamper one's work. If a man is restless for God, he gains the company of sadhus and as far as possible corrects his own watch with the sadhus' help. That which is Brahman is verily Shakti. I address that again as the mother. I call it Brahman when it is inactive, and Shakti when it creates, preserves, and destroys. It is like water, sometimes still and sometimes covered with waves. The incarnation of God is a part of the Leela of Shakti. The purpose of the divine incarnation is to teach man ecstatic love for God. The incarnation is like the udder of a cow. The only place milk is to be got. God himself incarnates as man. There is great accumulation of divinity in an incarnation, like the accumulation of fish in a deep hollow in a lake. Brahman alone is addressed as the mother. This is because a mother is a great object of love. One is able to realize God just through love. Ecstasy of feeling, devotion, love, and faith, these are the means. This attitude of regarding God as mother is the last word in sadhana. O God, thou art my mother, and I am truly thy child. This is the last word in spirituality. Mary, the Divine Mother. So central is the role of the Virgin Mary to the Incarnation that it is nearly impossible for us to conceive of the baby Jesus without his mother. If we feel inspired by the birth of the Lord Jesus, we feel equally inspired by the image of his mother. We see the wonderful manifestation of motherhood that is characterized by purity. We see a spirit of strength and courage adorned with modesty and humility. Mary's humility is further shown by her wonderful quietness. In the whole of the Gospels, she is recorded as having spoken only 7 times. Mary taught through silence. But her silence was not the silence of one who merely will not speak. Her silence was the silence of deep contemplation, the silence of one who remembers, "Be still and know that I am God." When Luke describes the events of Mary's life, he frequently uses the phrase, "Mary pondered all this in her heart." Mary's characteristic reaction to all the remarkable events of her life was to ponder them deeply within her heart. She thought about them deeply and seriously. She meditated upon them. Mary's voice was quiet, her mind was quiet, and it was with this interior silence that she listened to the voice of God. It was the quiet Mary who prompted Jesus' act of ministry. Jesus' first miracle was at his mother's behest at the wedding in Cana. In the middle of the wedding festivities, the wine had run out. Mary said to her son, "They have no wine." That was all she had to say. Obviously, Mary was giving Jesus a cue that he should do something about it. At first, he held back. "What is that to you and me? My hour is not yet come." This two-line conversation in itself shows the complete understanding between these two souls. Mary doesn't answer Jesus directly. It isn't necessary. Instead, she says to the servants, "Whatever he saith unto you, do it." Jesus tells them to fill 6 jars, and the water is transformed into wine. By following Mary's request, Jesus declares by his actions that he is the Messiah. It is at this point that his ministry began. A great deal has been made of Mary's request and Jesus' reaction. A whole theology has been built around it. Of primary importance is the belief that Jesus cannot refuse any request of his mother. St. Philip Neri wrote, "There is no more excellent way to obtain graces from God than to seek them through Mary, because her divine Son cannot refuse her anything. Salvation is easier through Mary than Jesus," St. Anselm said. This is because we have more recourse to the mother, and she prays for us. Her prayers, the prayers of a mother, are more irresistible than our own. Finally, Bernardino of Siena declared, "At the command of Mary, all obey, even God." This is the real essence of Mary. Mary is love incarnate, pure, unselfish, unquestioning, undiluted love. Love that loves for love's sake, without question of return. Mary is the perfect embodiment of purity and the greatest example of surrender to the will of God. Mary is the handmaid of the Lord and also his mother. She is the Virgin of Nazareth, enshrouded in silence, and she is the Queen of Heaven. Mary lived only a short while on earth, but her presence can still be felt. She reveals herself to those who, like her, are humble and pure. We can never know the real Mary except by following her own example. Mary is to be found in the silence of contemplation. Only by entering into the silence of communion with God can we know Mary, the Divine Mother.
Namaste. My name is Suhas. Today I was supposed to say something about Mother's Day, but then I realized what more can I add to our own experiences with our mother. So I'm going to talk about something else. A couple of ideas that has influenced my way of life: Upakara, Ahankara, Sakshatkara. First is the concept of help and gratitude, which is Upakara and Pratyupakara. I'm sure all of us here have been in the situations where we needed and received help, or a help was asked from us and we obliged. Given this, one could ask if there is a right or a good way to operate when it comes to giving or receiving help. To be precise, let us think of a situation where we are the providers of help. What is the right mindset to have? Of course, it has been said from times immemorial that one must help without expecting anything in return. Let us dissect it a little more. From a materialistic perspective, it is a little counterintuitive as to why one would invest time, energy, and resources to help only to expect nothing in return. But then, is it even possible to somehow ensure that the recipients of our help does something in return? Help, by definition, is not supposed to have anything in contract, like it's not explicit. So, if our expectations are not fulfilled by the recipient, then it will evoke adverse emotional response in us, such as grief, anger, pain, etc. Hence, it's advisable not to expect anything in return. But how about expecting that our help actually solves the problem of the recipient? For example, consider a situation where we have supported monetarily to someone with a serious life-threatening medical ailment. Almost always, there is a hope or a wish that the person recovers. But it is not uncommon for the disease to become fatal. This can be very taxing, since our wish or expectation that the person recovers creates a sort of an attachment. Furthermore, disappointments like these could lead us to abandoning this kind of help altogether. Hence, it can be argued that it is better to not even expect that our help actually helps. Now, let us go back to helping without expecting something in return. Many times, people who help hope that by karma they'll be helped when in need. Apart from us being disappointed when our expectations do not fructify, there is a deeper subtlety involved here. One must be careful of what one wishes for. For us to be able to be helped, we must be in a situation where we need one. That is, in some sense, hoping that we be helped implies that we are also hoping for a situation where we are in distress and need help. But this is the last thing anyone wants. A similar reasoning can be used in the situation when our role is flipped, when we are the recipients of help. This is beautifully summarized in the following anecdote from Valmiki Ramayana, which I heard from one of the discourses of His Holiness Jagadguru Sri Bharatitirtha Swamiji of Sringeri Math. I'm sure we all know about the role played by Hanuman in the episode in Ramayana. When Hanuman returns to Rama after finding about the location of Sita, Rama is very pleased by this. But then Rama tells Hanuman to forget all his deeds through the following shloka. Narapratyupakararthi vipattim abhikankshati mayeva jirnatam yatu yatvayopakritam harehe. The meaning of the first line is as follows. Whenever a man hopes or wishes to repay the help received from another, he'll be looking for the right opportunity to help the other. However, help can be rendered only if the other person is in need of it. So if Rama were to desire to help Hanuman, then he would be hoping for an opportunity when Hanuman is in trouble. So out of genuine affection and care, he says the second line, which means, let all the fruits of your action, which in this case is help to Rama, be absorbed in me. Hence, Hanuman need not be helped again, and hence would never be in a distress situation. I found this reasoning very fascinating. Isn't this what true gratitude actually means? Isn't this the best we could wish for a person who helped us? This way of thinking can also make us more open to receiving help, in the sense that it takes off the feeling of burden or waiting to repay the kindness, or a sense of guilt that we did not yet find an opportunity to pay back. Now let us push a bit further. We could ask, why is that we even have a desire or an urge to help? We see people all around wanting to change the human condition, like lifting people out of poverty, fighting for social change, etc. Why does this desire exist? It is seldom the case that people help with the sole notion of duty. More often than not, it is accompanied by a desire. What is its origin? This brings me to my second idea, that of ahankara or ego, the false sense of I. It can be reasoned that any and all of our actions stem from various layers of ego. For instance, we do help others even when we are not consciously expecting anything in return, because that makes us happy and gives us satisfaction. Somewhere there is a notion of the egoistic I which says, because of my action, this person is out of distress. Basically, we do an action because we expect a certain consequence that makes us happy or satisfied, and this is related to the egoistic I. So the expectation is implicit, and when the intended consequences are not met, it affects us, similar to the case where a person ailing with the disease is unable to survive even after we help them. It is helpful to understand that our desire to do any action stems from our creative impulses, of our egoistic self. So a natural question to ask is, can any action be taken without desiring anything at all? I don't know, but I don't think there exists such an action. So what should we do? This manifestation of ego is not so bad as long as we are conscious of it. At the end of the day, if our actions help people in need, then it is fine to be happy about it. But it will help to recognize that our action may not have the intended consequence and be at peace with it. The manifestation of ego that was just described is not very explicit and may not be that problematic. But more often we see that ego manifests as something more sinister, pride. In the case of helping others, it becomes a matter of pride to help, and this isn't healthy since there is an expectation for people to be in distress. Further, even when we are in need of help, pride can make us non-receptive, and also to the extent of hoping for an opportunity to pay back, which again means that we are looking forward to our helper being in distress. To dig a bit further, all these point to the oft-quoted observation that ego is problematic. So perhaps it's worthwhile to try get rid of ego. But how does one do that? Our Vedanta philosophy suggests that inside this egoistic I, there lies the true self, which is pure, infinite, and with no attributes. Once one is able to experience the existence of self, they no longer mistake ego to be themselves. As many of us know, there are various paths to attain this realization. Adi Shankaracharya, whose Jayanti was celebrated a few days ago, was a proponent of Jnana Marga, or the way of knowledge to self-realization. But this is hard because to just intellectually acknowledge the presence of self is very different from experiencing it. I feel that an alternative and a relatively easier way is through bhakti, true devotion. What is this devotion and what is the object of this devotion? We pray to God or our favorite deity every day, but then it is usually to just wish for things or success. Although this is a form of devotion, it is not the highest one. True devotion is when we are devoted to something without expecting anything in return. That is to say, you see truth in something, for example, a deity or music or anything, and you are completely devoted to it in such a way that you, which is ego, no longer matter. All that exists for you is that one thing where you see the truth. Basically, it is sharanagati or surrender. This implies that over time, your ego becomes so tiny and just disappears. Once this happens, you find that truth you were devoted to is yourself. I would like to end by mentioning this anecdote from the life of great philosopher and proponent of the Bhakti Marga in Karnataka, Sri Kanakadasa. In a meeting of his and other scholars with their guru Vyasatirtha, Kanakadasa is asked as to who among those present would attain mukti or salvation. When pointed to each scholar present there, he answers in the negative. Further, when asked about the chances of his own guru attaining mukti, he again replies in the negative. Everyone is seriously agitated by his response that is seemingly inconsiderate to his own guru. But when he is asked about his own chances, he just says, Nanu hodare hodenu, which translates to, if I goes, I reach. Thank you.
Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmayethi Rudrayatte Dakshinam Mukham Tenamam Pahi Nityam. May the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May the Divine Consciousness fill our hearts and protect us. Today, on Mother's Day, it's natural and inevitable for us to think about our own mothers, but also mothers in general. And as spiritual seekers, to think about the motherhood of God, when we learn to look upon the divine as a motherly figure. in those of us who derive our inspiration in spiritual life from Vedanta, but more specifically, as we see the insights that come from the life and words of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda. So on Mother's Day also becomes an occasion for us to think about Sharda Devi, whom more fondly known as the Holy Mother. We might see this from our own life or from what we may have heard or read about from devotees and students of Holy Mother's life, that people all over the world, both our generation and the generations that have gone by, have derived so much strength, courage, as a result of remembering the presence of Holy Mother in their lives as they face the challenges and difficulties in their own lives. Now, on the face of it, Holy Mother seems a very unlikely figure to generate that strength and courage and determination in our lives. Because these are the qualities we often associate with manliness, courage, strength, and so on. But it's time that we leave behind this gender-based, outmoded, stereotypical classifications between what does it mean to be a man or a woman. I think to benefit from Vedantic understanding and Vedantic teaching, one of the non-negotiable first step in our spiritual life would be to go past this distinction between man and woman. If we can train ourselves to see others primarily as a human being, then that's the first step in spiritual life. Because then there is some hope that if I look deeper, I might discover a divine being under the human cover. But so long as I'm stuck in these genders, distinctions, then it's a long way off to go to divinity. So that's the first step. And when we are able to do that, we see that these qualities of strength, courage, determination, there's nothing very manly about it. That these are qualities that can manifest in any true human being worthy of facing life's challenges. And that has been the experience of people who have read Holy Mother's life mindfully, carefully. What we soon discover is that while motherhood, and we speak about God as mother and the feminine aspect of the divine and so on, that because it is not limited to a specific gender, being a mother is not simply a biological function. Even those who are not mothers biologically can still be mothers. We know that from Holy Mother's life herself. Once, because of the unusual marriage Sharda Devi had with Ramakrishna, her mother, Sharda Devi's mother, once lamented that my daughter, Sharda, she will never have the joy of being a mother. And when Ramakrishna heard that, he assured his mother-in-law, he said, don't worry about that. There'll be so many, thousands and thousands of children all over the world addressing your daughter as mother, she'll get just tired of hearing the word mother again and again. And so Holy Mother herself, although she was not biologically a mother, but I think very few mothers can claim to have as many children as Holy Mother has had. If we look further, therefore, that because it is not based on gender or because it is not based on a biological function, the ideas associated with motherhood can manifest in anyone. Could be in those whom we see as our father, as our brothers, sisters, anyone or among our friends. So motherhood is a manifestation of everything that we associate with mother, with care, understanding, being there in times of need, being that presence of that assuring presence in our lives. The Bengali song that was just sung just now really has that idea. It's one of the very song that Ramakrishna loved very much. It's such a beautiful meaning. Ma achen ar ami achi, bhavana ki ache amar. It really means my mom is there, I'm there, I'm not worried about anything. And then the verses go on saying that even when I see darkness in my life, not just physical darkness, of course, children are afraid of the dark, but even metaphorical darkness. There are situations in life when we are not sure about what to do. Things appear dark. When we feel uncertain about the way forward. And then that song goes on to say that even in such moments of darkness, I hear the voice of my mother saying, don't be afraid, I'm here for you. That whenever the negativities, the song goes on to say that they call it the 6 enemies, when these jealousy, anger, hatred, and so on, sometimes gets referred to in the text as the enemies of our spiritual life. So when I'm overcome by these negativities of life, again, I hear my mother's voice telling me, don't worry, don't be afraid, I'm here to help you. This is not your fight alone. And we know that. So Swami Vivekananda used to say that a mother might be afraid of even a rat or a cockroach at home. But if that mother is with her baby, and if that baby were to be attacked, that time the mother would stand in front of the baby to protect her baby. That's what motherhood can do. And so when we look back at our life, it's not just about our own mothers, but about all these assuring presences we have had in our life, right from our childhood. Could be from anyone within our family, among our friends, among our teachers. So that presence in our life, which strengthens us, which helps us face life more boldly, that is the presence of mother. So mother, more than a person, is a force, is a power, is an idea. And that can manifest anywhere and everywhere. We see that sometimes you might see that even in animals. Again, it doesn't have to be animals between the same species. There are, if you just look up on YouTube or everywhere, you find that maybe an orphaned cat, maybe, and then she's brought into in a family where they may have a big dog or something else, and then the dog then acts as the surrogate mother for the cat or a tortoise or anything. So you find that the power of motherhood can manifest in most unexpected places. And if we can somehow connect with that power in our life, we will not be afraid of anything. challenges will come, difficulties will come. No life is without that difficulty. It can come at the physical level through illnesses, through sickness. It can come at the mental level about anxiety, stress, worry, fear. But if that part of the mother is somehow present in our life in any of these ways, we will never feel we are alone. We'll always feel there is somebody there. Many of Ramakrishna's disciples, Swami Shivananda, for instance, they said that when they were all in their late teens when they met Ramakrishna, and they said that whenever they went to Dakshineshwar, they always felt that they were going to meet their mother. Now, if you look at Ramakrishna's appearance, well, there's a big beard. There's nothing very, just like a mother it looks. So again, as I said, it's not the gender or the appearance that makes that should define who a mother is. In fact, someone mentioned to me the other day that he was, as most of us are, anxious about, like, what does death mean? What would happen after death? In Sanskrit, it's sometimes called abhinivesha, this unspoken, unexpressed, subtle fear of death. We may not be obsessed about death, but there is always this fear, like, who knows what will happen after death? And then he said that, then suddenly this thought struck him, that those who I have known so closely, those were these mother figures, if you like, or someone very close, whether it could be our parents or grandparents or friends or teachers, those who are so close and maybe they are no more now. And he said, when I remember that they have gone into this mysterious thing called death, then I don't feel so afraid of death anymore. Because they said, people who have been that assuring presence in my life, if that's where they have gone, then that wherever they have gone doesn't seem to be such a terrible place or a terrible experience. Somehow he said, it just brings me strength to, again, not thinking about it very philosophically, but just thinking about it from just the heart, that in times of danger, in times of uncertainties, having this mother power working in our life can make a big difference. And this mother power can come in our lives, in, as I said, in many different forms. So these are the words of Holy Mother Sharda Devi. And this is what she said. Do not fear, my child. Always remember that Master, that's in Bengali they used to say Thakur, referring to Ramakrishna, is behind you. I'm also with you. As long as you remember me, your mother, why should you be frightened? Whoever has come here, whoever is my child, is already redeemed. Destiny dare not throw my children into hell. Free yourself from all anxiety by entrusting your future to me. Never fear. Whenever you are in distress, just say to yourself, I have a mother. Now, these are words that came specifically from Holy Mother, but as I said, the similar sentiments can come in our lives through any of the mother figures, whether they manifested in a human form or we see them in a divine terms. These same ideas can come, as we saw in the earlier reading about how the role that Mother Mary plays among the Christian tradition. So Holy Mother used to say that whenever you are in distress, whenever you are in difficulty, always tell yourself, I have a mother. And that is something that many of the students of Sharda Devi's life have found, that every time we remember, every time we feel unsure, every time we remember, I have a mother, we are then able to see Mother telling us, well, you are my child. So affirming ourselves as children of God is simultaneously affirming the presence of God as father or mother, whichever way comes naturally to us. But that affirmation is very strengthening, and we need strength. Life is difficult for those who are weak. That's what Swami Vivekananda stressed on strength. He used to say, strength is life, weakness is death. And strength can come to us by recognizing this power of motherhood that is around us and that is within us. So the more we are able to appreciate the power of mother outside us, the more the mother in our own heart will awaken. So just as we benefit from the presence of mother among all these people and places and things around us, in turn, it doesn't even have to be conscious. In fact, most of the time it is unconscious. We ourselves, when we become true children of the mother in our heart awakens, and unbeknownst to us, that power of the mother will spread out from within through our own life, through our own action, through our own words to people around us. And so that's the one modern mantra, if you like, that whenever we are in difficulty, to just remind ourselves, I have a mother. So then we hear mother's voice telling us, don't worry, I'm your child, or you are my child.
Jakshi Nidupa Dambujamuna Niranam Niti Ambujakshi Nidupa Dambujamuna Niranam Niti Jakshi Nidupadambujamuna Niranam Iti Ambujakshi Nidupadambujamuna Niranam Iti అంబరీషు మొదలు నిల్ను పొగడగ ఆధారమైన భృగన్నాయకి అంబరీషు మొదలు నిల్ను పొగడగ ఆధారమైన భృగన్నాయకి సా అపా మణి పామగ పామగ సా పసాని పమని పమ పామగ మగ స పామగ స నీ పామ పాప సాని పరి సని పరి సరి నీ సపని మా పరి పమగం బా నీలా సరి సమానమిక లేదను చూనే గాచి మరి ధరలోని సరి సమానమిక లేదను చూనే గాచి మరి మాధవ సోదరి యనినే పిలచిన వీనుల సుల్త వినరాదా అంబ మాధవ సోదరి యనినే పిలచిన వీనుల సుల్త వినరాదా అంబ మాధవ సోదరి యనినే పిలచిన వీనుల సుల్త వినరాదా ఆదరించగనే యోరగయుల్న అర నిమిషము నిన్ను విడువను అంబా ఆదరించగనే యోరగయుల్న అర నిమిషము నిన్ను విడువను ఓ జగదంబా మణి పామగ పామగ సా పసాని పమని పమ పామగ మగ స పామగ స నీ పామ పాప సాని వరి సని పరి సని సప ని మా పరి పామగం బా నీలా
So after prayer now, we'll have Sarvamangala and then we'll have soup and the birthday celebration of everyone in the month of May. So here's the program for the upcoming week. So next Sunday, we'll celebrate the Buddha's birthday, and our topic for the satsang will be what the Buddha taught. On Wednesday, we will continue with the study of the Katha Upanishad, and on Tuesday and Saturday, our meditation will also continue as usual. Let's do the prayer on page 3 now. May the Divine Being, who is the Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, the Great Spirit of the Native Americans, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. May we be granted strength, freedom, and clear understanding. May we learn to see God in our own hearts and in everyone around us. May God bless us all and fill our hearts with gratitude, grace, and love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto you.
We will sing Sarvamangala on page 1.